with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
Am I an oddball that I'm already excited about Monday's OTA?
Yes, probably.
It's just an organized training activity or team activity, and I'm already excited. Probably because I didn't get to go to the one earlier this week.
Yeah, that's
on
probably
Tuesday.
it.
That has to be it.
I mean, listen, it is fun. I mean, they're running around doing a lot of stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing a whole practice. That's what I want to see, because I had to jet out of there and miss all the team stuff, all the 7-on-7. That's where you can see. I like seeing all the reports from all our great reporters out there, who made a great catch, who, had a good pass defense or interception.
But you want to see it with your own eyes.
Yeah, you want to see it with your own too. I saw it a little bit, just them moving around and just looking at them and how they Strange was doing. There was a picture I think online where Strange is doing his blocking with the coach, and me and Hayes and Frank were right there just. That's when he walked away. I looked at Frank. I'm like, man, that's an athlete right there. That's he looks good. He looks healthy. That guy can stay healthy. He's going to have a monster year. Yeah, but getting him back out there and look, it continues with each one. They do more, right? And then we just get closer to camp, and then camp. It's going to be a lot of competition.
Then camp was when we go, they don't have the pads on yet. They don't have the pads on yet. And then finally, the day that they have the pads on, we're all like, football is back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not a real game, but hey, we'll take it.
That's what Hayes yesterday said it best, in the sense of like it's another box being checked to closer to football season. But it is. I mean, this is when the roster building starts, or you feel like you have a solid foundation here in Jacksonville right now. So that just continues of how you're building your depth, and maybe some battles we've talked about. And so it is exciting, because it does feel like there's questions, and some we're not going to see right away. We've talked about, Travis Hunter coming back from injury, Jordan Lewis, some of those guys, maybe we won't see everything you want to see. And when it comes to some of the battles you're expecting, but I still do think when it comes to even the trenches, and they're not hitting, but just seeing, the quick, you're seeing some of the things that when it comes to the new guys, how they're fitting in right away with the coaching style, the offense, defense, whatever the case may be in general. But it is kind of like, okay, here's that next. You get through combine, you get through free agency, you get through draft, you get through OTAs, and that's box, check, and the next thing you know, it's camp, and your things run away from there. And so, but I do think there's a lot of interesting storylines on this team this year when it comes to some of the players that are going to have some battles, or maybe not immediate battles. We've talked about some of them where maybe, closer to camp, you'll see some mix-ups and of what that may look like. But I think it'll be really fun, because this is a team that just won 13 games, and you want that to continue. And you've had this cycle of that ending after having a year like that. And so you want to see the product that you feel like can lead you to another successful season.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest challenge will just be like, look, you're no longer under the radar. They know about you. They've always known about you, but they know what kind of team you are. They know what kind of offense and defense you run. They know what worked against you, what didn't work against you. And they did that a little bit last year, but not like in a whole season's worth. And now they have two, at least, offenses to look at from Liam's time at Tampa, and then, of course, here's the head coach. So that's just the the culture of they're going to earn it, all that it's awesome. The reality is, like, when you go come Sunday, like, now it's, it might be a little bit more challenging. Who said it? One of our guests said, like, they're going to, Herm said it. Herm Edwards. He said, they're going to look at you totally different now. And it's true, but it doesn't mean, look, it just means that, okay, we're ready too. And I love our comeback. Anytime, any place, anywhere, buddy.
Yeah.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. You want to go outside? You want to go inside? We don't care. You want to rain, snow, on the road in Japan, Tokyo? We don't care. We're going to go play.
Soon.
You know what I mean? So he's got that, but that will be, and it'll be a good chess match with play call and whatnot, because, there's those busters, right? There's those checks. There's those different things. And they've probably figured them out. So now we got to come up with some that keeps them off balance.
There's no film with Nate Borkature on the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tom.
No, that's right. That's right.
And I'm half joking when I say that. Obviously, not just Borkature, but the ability with all the tight ends that now the Jaguars have on this roster, that they will be able to do things that other teams' defenses don't have on film. There's a lot that's on film, but the heavy 12 and 13 personnel with tight ends, not offensive linemen, in the jumbo package is a little different.
Well, it is. I was just going to say they may, because those guys got to, like, again, like you heard even Strange said it with, I think it was with Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was saying like, yeah, we want to get them in nickel, like, and then we run on them because they can't keep, and then we want it. They go in base or big, and we want to outrun them. So that's what you're trying. So they got to be able to show that. I know he can, and Cozy will see. Like, we'll just see it. I'm sure Burke. I heard what I saw a report. Oh, he looks good coming off. Whatever. We'll just see how that shakes out. But the only way that 12-13 personnel really affects that defense is if they have to change the personnel. If they don't, because their linebackers are fast. One of my safety can take one of them. The other two linebackers can take the other two.
Right.
We're not worried about, we got the corners covered. We got everybody else covered.
Some defenses will be better at that than others.
Well, of course, yeah,
right?
Depending on how they're built.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the Texans defense might be better against 12 and 13 personnel than the Colts and the Titans, for instance.
I feel like Shahir is a good cover guy, and number 39, Teheo, whatever his, that's close.
To'o.
Is that what it is? Yeah, he's pretty good cover guys, too. Yeah. So maybe you're right there. Safety's going to have to help, but that's not taking you out of base.
Yeah.
But if they can, then it's like, yeah. It was like, I think I said it before, like, and you guys know this, like when you go nickel and then if you run a motion out and now there's only one backer and 4 dime linemen, they can run all day on you. Mm-hmm. If you're worried about the pass, like they're going to outrun you and you're worried about that more than they're going to go hat on hat, and you're not going to get to that running back till he's 4 yards past the line of scrimmage before you even hit him.
Yeah.
So that's what they're trying to accomplish. Can they? That's the idea that they can.
The other thing too, Taylor, is the good part is because they're going to practice like this, the Jaguars defense will know what to do, or at least they'll learn how to prepare for those looks as well.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. We talk so much about Liam Cohen's play calling on the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, and what Coach Camp's been able to do, because he was being talked about for head coaching positions for reasons, because he's good at his job, and maybe there were some issues I think we could talk about last year. Some of that's injury, some of that maybe personnel, some of that I think is just maybe trying to figure out the type of guys you have and what they can do on the field, and he had to adjust at times because of losing a Travis Hunter and then a Jordan Lewis, and Trayvon Walker wasn't 100%, and the other pass rushers you brought in weren't being effective, so you kind of had to pivot and start figuring stuff out when it came to blitzing and getting to the quarterback in other ways. And so we saw that start to adapt, towards the end when it comes to, for example, the Broncos being able to do what they did to that offense when so many people were talking about that. And we've talked about the reverse a lot of what the Jags offense was able to do. But I do think that's an important element too, because we do live in this world where everything's adapting. And so many, all the time, we talk about what offense looks like, and that lives for 5 or 6 years, and then it starts to shift, and there's this new innovative something that's happening, and this 12-13 personnel has started to take over. And so I think on both sides of the ball, when it comes to having the experience of going against that, and so there are going to be teams in the league that I think will be better on certain sides of the ball because they faced it a little bit more when it comes to, I know McVay is one of the ones that obviously run the 12-13 a lot. Ben Johnson ran 13 personnel like 37% or something last year, so a very high percentage. So the teams that played that last year are going to have a little bit more experience, and then his offense already having a good amount of experience, and then adding a tight end that's going to add to their offense in that. And there's multiple teams. There's a whole list of that the number that has increased with that 12-13 personnel. It's what you're adapting to at this point in time. And so I do think that there's going to be some teams in the league that do have a little bit more experience when it comes to covering that. Actually doing that offensively. And so for the Jags, it's not like there's not a ton of film on Liam Cohen doing it, but there's film around the league of how these coaches do it. And so how Liam Cohen can adapt that a tiny bit to make it work for this offense is what is going to be really fun for me to watch. Yeah.
And on defense, look, they're going to have to practice all different. Like they're going to do it with base, they're going to do it nickel, and do it the 3 safety. Ideally, you'd love the big nickel or the 3 safety, because that means my safeties can take on those blocks at the line of scrimmage. They're not going to get overpowered by the tight ends, which is tough. Those guys are a lot bigger, but they're really good cover guys.
Yeah.
And I'd rather protect the coverage as long as they can hold up against the run. Now, if they're getting blown out, no, you have to replace them, because what are they going to do? Run on you. But you better hope that linebacker that comes in that's better against the run can run with the tight end when they goes upfield on play action. That's the trick. And does every team have that personnel? No,
probably
they don't.
not. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, some of these tight ends are like wide receivers. So you got to have special skills in order to cover them in the open field, and they're big enough to take you on at the line of scrimmage. So you may be okay in that, but what if they get up on you and you're trying to get on their hip? Next thing you know, they're pulling away and you can't keep up.
Yeah.
Now you're in big trouble, right? So it's that, you got to be able to find that. And that, like you said, a great point on the defense, they got to practice against that. So they're ready and they may have to adapt. Like they may try certain personnel group to start during the game and then they're getting worked and they're like, all right, we got to figure it out. You think of like Seattle with the 3 safety. That's part of it because the Rams were using that 12 and 13. Yeah, we'll take Imanuri or whatever his name is.
Imanuri.
Imanuri. I will take him. He's a big safety who's physical. He can handle getting up on that line of scrimmage and holding up his point of attack enough. He may not be able to hold it for 5 seconds, but enough for the cavalry to come to hold his point. And he can cover, he can blitz. We can get real creative on the defensive side of the ball. You guys can get creative. So can we with we added speed to the field.
That's what's funny is we all made fun of Brian Nielsen and the hockey shifts, right? Like those rotations that he would do with defensive players.
Yep.
But as I'm hearing you talk about it, I'm like, we might see more and more of that in the NFL.
Yeah.
You
just have to do it right and play them where they actually should play is the problem.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
With the back end, but the front four,
not the front four, but I'm talking about the
back
linebackers
seven,
and the secondary. Like you could see a much more rotation moving forward than what we've seen.
And as we all know, you all want to try to trap them, right? You want to get them in a personnel group, and then they can't, substitute, and then you get them on that down, or maybe even more.
Yeah, I mean the biggest with the 2 games we talk about last year the most are Rams and Seattle, where the Jags struggled, and I defensively, offensively, kind of everywhere. But that's the Seattle Seahawks had the 6th highest 12 personnel, and the Rams had the highest. So those are 2 teams that your defense was not very good against that last year. And so I do feel like, to your point, Tommy, maybe the linebacker conversation is when we talk about it being important this offseason, having that linebacker that can be good against the run, but you do have the confidence. And not saying that wasn't Devin Lloyd, because obviously he had a ton of interceptions and stuff like that, but having ones that they know they can lean into, that can drop back into coverage, and they have the confidence that you can cover that a little bit better. They struggled against the tight ends too, and those two, with those teams, that's a big part of that.
Yeah, and I'd like to go back, and maybe I'll try to go back to the Seattle game, because they had those chunk plays, but other than that, I thought we played pretty well. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, the tight ends were the problem, but I think it was more because we lost them in coverage. I know at least one time Wingard lost him in coverage and then tried to make up. He doesn't have that kind of makeup speed, which is fine.
Right.
But and then there was another one, and it was the same tight end. He burned us for 60 yards. And then he burned us for a touchdown or something. I got to go back. I think they ran on us a little bit, because I don't know. I got to go back and look at it.
Yeah.
But look, it was 20-12. You went toe to toe.
Your offense was not good enough.
Your offense was not good enough at all.
If your offense was scoring the way that it did later in the season, you held them to 20 points.
Yeah,
you
had a chance for sure.
Or they score more. They might have felt like they didn't need to because you couldn't score.
That's true. In Jigba's bomb
it
was
JSN
the big one.
Was a big one.
That was they couldn't stop.
They ran for 60 yards.
They were exposed in
only.
our secondary.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah, I felt like they knew they couldn't run, so those explosive plays was what they had to do. And honestly, that's kind of what those teams do, is the big explosive plays. And then the moment you have to worry about that, they're going to get a first down, an 8-yard run or a 10-yard run. That's kind of how they manipulate the defenses, and that's why it worked for both of those teams.
Yeah, and then the Rams just dismantled us. I mean, they didn't even have our boy Pakua.
Yeah.
I know.
Pakua was not there.
I'm just sitting back.
Yeah.
In the end, Sean McVay definitely dismantled Anthony Campanile's defense.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike McDonald got the better of Sean McVay when all was said and done. All right, more Jaguars and football conversation coming your way. On the other side, it's Helmets and Heels, 10 to next on 92.5 FM.
The home of the home team you grew up with.
Big play. Look at the release by Jimmy Smith as he then clears the rest of the Dolphins secondary. And wow, talk about deja vu.
1010XL.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hello,
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
Meta World Peace, what's up, man?
Nah, that's not my name anymore, thanks to Hard Rock Bet.
We're doing this again, are we?
Now I go by Meta over rebounds, under assists, Meta the first basket, free throw, piece.
Huh, so you really can same-game parlay practically anything now on Hard Rock Bet.
It's the only place I play these days.
Download the Hard Rock Bet app and start playing today. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
I insist on complete honesty.
You can chime in anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Installed by Lifetime Flooring.
If you have something to say to me, I wish you would just say it.
Share your opinion.
Are you nuts?
What?
641-1010.
That's crazy.
Looking for ways to save on your JEA bill? We're on it. When it comes to your utilities, the less you use, the more you can save. That's why JEA offers ways to help you manage your usage and avoid higher than expected bills. Use our online tools to monitor your usage throughout the month. Schedule a free irrigation or energy efficiency assessment and get personalized tips to save. And with JEA rebates, you can save when upgrading to more efficient equipment. Find more ways to save at JEA.com.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
Mortgage rates have dropped. They're expected to move lower. Home sales momentum is building. So now's the time to get your home ready to maximize your sales price. It's time to call Chad and Sandy, the proven experts to sell your home. Maybe you have concerns about putting your home on the market and getting it sold. Well, let me alleviate those for you. There's a real quick solution. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold or they will buy it. Call 414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com. You'll find out for yourself. Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts I trust and recommend with the sale of your home or mine. Using their proprietary Market Max system, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Anthony and Mary in Palmco said, we needed to sell our home to move closer to family, but low cash offers weren't cutting it. Since we'd only bought a year earlier, options felt limited, but not for Chad and Sandy. Call Chad and Sandy today, or log on to chadandsandy.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's team time, Farah doesn't flinch.
I'm letting go. You just wanna pull me in, pick me up and let me down.
It is already Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. That is exciting stuff. That means that the weekend is almost upon us, and it feels like we just had a long weekend.
I know.
So I love it.
Yeah,
Me too.
Absolutely.
All right, back to
It
the
is here.
That's right. Jaguars conversation when it comes to the defensive personnel that we think will be out there if the opposing offense is in 12 and 13 personnel. So we will get to see this, I think, a lot during maybe not OTAs, but certainly mini camp and the mandatory mini camp. And then when it comes into training camp. So Foye Oluokun, I think we can all agree he's going to be on the field as far as the linebackers are concerned.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then I think is when it gets interesting.
Yeah,
That's
already.
the only one that I'm 100% confident is going to be on the field.
Yeah. Well, ideally, if they go 12-13 and you can hang with Oluokun,
So Ventrell,
Antonio,
Yeah.
No, Ventrell, like if you've replaced the backers with safeties, to get big safety-wise, maybe Husky,
Yeah.
Antonio Johnson, and a Lewican instead of a Lewican, Ventrell, and whatever other backer per se, or even just Ventrell for another safety, depending on who.
And that's what as I'm
Ventrell
thinking
can
through, that's what I wonder.
He can cover. There's no doubt. He's
right.
He's one. Him and a Lewican can both cover very well.
But yeah, if you have 3 safeties, it feels like Antonio Johnson's going to be on the field.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah,
I would.
I want him on the field. I
do too. Yeah, he's really proven that you can count on him.
And then do you go with the veteran Eric Murray, who is certainly, I would say, now fighting for a job, even as smart as he is, because they've now drafted 2 guys to play safety. That you're always fighting for a job. I feel like if you've gotten a lot of snaps under your belt. So then you've got Caleb Branshaw in the mix. You've got Jalen Husky, the most recent safety that they drafted. That's an interesting combination right there, those 3.
Well, that's what they're going to have to figure out. Which guys can cover really well, which guys are good up against, the run when they're on the line of scrimmage, taking on blocks, or even 5 yards off. How are they at reading the run, reading the pass? Those guys, you can't miss on that one. You know what I mean? You can't miss on the play action. So they'll just try to figure out which guys out of the package. There's a couple other guys, they look like Neal, a rookie. He was undrafted, but, he's a bigger type safety. Look, Murray's not small.
No.
He's not. I mean, he's 5'11", 200 pounds, so he'll be, having that opportunity. I think they really like him.
I think they do,
I just feel like they really like him. Didn't they redo his deal, too, just in the offseason, like extended it or maybe pushed some money up or did something? But I feel like they really like
did Antonio's.
Eric Murray. But
it is interesting because I'm sure they do, but then you also talk about they also drafted Caleb Branshaw and Jalen Husky in back-to-back years, too. So they brought more safety competition. And after already the whole conversation this offseason was you didn't even get to really see Caleb Branshaw, so you pretty much have a draft pick fresh to you that you haven't got to use. And then they use another draft pick on obviously Jalen Husky. And so I think the safety room is going to be one of the more interesting ones because
by the way, they did restructure Eric Murray when they did Patrick McCarry back in March.
Yeah, and they obviously that was one of their free agents from the previous year, and so they have a free agent, a guy that they wanted, they brought back Monteric Brown. A lot of that secondary are kind of feel like they're their guys, whether it's a restructure, a re-sign, or a drafted guy. And so it will be interesting to see how that works out. I think that Antonio Johnson, I think you want to see on the field what he's shown you last year, especially in Coach Camp's defense. I think that just surge he had in one season when you were kind of waiting for that breakout year for Antonio Johnson. I feel like last year was it. So you're expecting an even bigger jump
more
from
than
him
5
this year.
interceptions this year.
Yeah, come on, double it.
Yeah, double it.
Travis will get 10. Travis will get 10.
Yeah.
You get 7. How about that?
I don't know if you want Travis being targeted that much because then that means he's not playing really well. Probably.
Well, he's just gonna sky high in the air and get balls that were not even intended for his man.
Yeah. Well, listen, Caleb played like that big nickel and rover in college at Tulane, a little bit of corner too.
Yeah.
So he's the guy that is in that big nickel 3 safety package that maybe can get up on that line and handle some things.
Yeah.
He's going to be fun to watch. I mean, can he play safety? We don't even know if he can play safety. He was getting better before he got hurt.
He was.
I mean, during camp, you could tell he was starting to make plays when they were going red zone and whatnot. He's knocking down balls. You saw him make some plays on the football and whatnot.
And he's not injury prone. This is not a guy that spent a lot of his college career injured.
Yeah, and then look, I don't think they knew what they had in Antonio, but what they made him into. Now they're like, we love Antonio. And look, we all felt like physically he had it all, and whatever they did to get him right, he's done great. So I would expect him to be out there quite a bit. So in a perfect world, right? You got Foye or you got Foye and Miller, or you got Foye and then you got Caleb, you got Antonio, and you got Husky or Murray. That's a good pick to choose from, or a lot to choose from, I guess.
That's, I think, one thing that they learned from last year, Tom, is they lost critical pieces to their defense that they didn't have replacements for. And I do think that going into this year's draft, regardless of whether you like it or don't like it, agree or disagree, they felt like, okay, we have to have a guy out there that we think can do something Brenton Strange can do if Brenton Strange goes down. Whether you agree with Borkature being close to Brenton Strange or not. Right. That's obviously how they felt in drafting him where they did. In looking at the safety position, they didn't probably feel like they had enough depth at safety last year. And when Dewey Wingard was in there, regardless of how great he is on special teams and is in the locker room or was in the locker room here, they didn't feel like they had the pieces that they wanted to have out on the field. And so that's where I think their heads were going into this year's draft.
Yeah, I mean, look, you always want to build towards the future, too, because those older guys will eventually, either move on to another team or be done. But I do think it's a combination. I think it's because of the way the offenses are changing a little bit in the NFL that we've got to figure out how to have those that flexibility on how we play that, either base, nickel, or dime. That type of thing. So I think it's a combination of that.
Don't nickel and dime me.
Yeah, but look, Brenton's still young. I mean, he's got a lot of football left in him, but at the same time, he was hurt last year for what, 5 games?
5 games.
We didn't replace that at all. There was not a replacement there for us at all. So yeah, if he goes down, you got other guys. I noticed Hunter Long out there working with the first team a lot. So they may be giving him another chance to be a red zone threat. He looked like he was going to be early on last year.
Didn't you win some money thanks to him?
Yeah, I did. Damn right I did.
I heard Dempsey say, sorry, Taylor, that Quentin Morris probably has caught this, or did on Monday or Tuesday, catch the second most passes out there after Parker Washington. I thought that was interesting, too, when we're talking about tight ends.
I like him.
Yeah, I think in a sense, too, when you talk about, things that happened last year, and I think in a way, certain moments taught them about their own mistakes, too, throughout that, because in the offseason, they brought in multiple tight ends, and everybody was like, these are all blocking tight ends. And they're like, no, they can catch. And then when Brenton Strange went out, they couldn't replace that production out of Brenton Strange in the passing game. So then they did have to, not only Borkature, but with Koziel, a tight end that is known for catching the football. And so I think between that, I think the conversation with cornerbacks is going to be, it was probably a little bit of a learning one too, because not only Travis Hunter did you lose 2 positions, which that was part of the conversation when everyone's like, he plays 2 positions, but if he gets hurt, you're losing 2 positions, and you've got to make up for both of those things. So then they had to go get Jacoby Myers, and the whole rest of the season, you're trying to figure out what you're doing with your cornerbacks. And so I do think that in some of their...
they missed on Greg
Newsome too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so there's some misses that they had this last year. De'Ami Brown was another one. They had to kind of make up for that mid-season too. So the Jacoby Myers, I think, was partly Travis Hunter, partly De'Ami's not the guy that we thought he was going to be. Yep. So I do think that is a part of this too, is they did some things last year. They're looking back and being like, okay, that didn't quite work. So we have to try this again. And I think that's okay. I think as a regime all working together, that's one of the things that Tony Baselli was talking about on the Frangie show is, it's a learning process all together. And last year, like the more you're around each other, the more you understand what likes and dislikes, and you can have conversations. It's not arguments. Do you disagree? Yes. But I think it comes to, no, I really like this player. I really like this player. Okay, why? Let's have this conversation of how they fit on this offense or defense. And so last year, I think they were just trying to fill some holes. It was very quickly, obviously, because both Liam Cohen and James Gladstone came a little later than most of the new head coaches and general managers. So they were working on the fly. And because of that, I do think that maybe some of the thought processes and filling in some of the gaps was rushed a little. And this year they had a lot more time to sit here and be like, what do I want my offense to look like? What type of player specifically fits a Liam Cohen offense? And they had more time to work on that.
Yeah.
And that's where, Tom, when everyone talks about the whole, okay, there's no ETN or Devin Lloyd, right? And since D-Rock said we're no longer calling him
I'm
Etienne,
just saying ETN
it's
too.
ETN. Yeah, we're not gonna do the both.
Yeah.
But
Trevor didn't even know.
Yeah.
If Trevor didn't know, I'm not changing now. Trevor didn't even have any idea.
Yeah. Right. D-Rock was like, I'm not doing that.
Correct. So he had 5 years to tell us, and he didn't tell us, so we're going with ETN. Yeah. I understand that. But yeah, when around the league they talk about, well, yeah, they lost to those 2 players, so they may not be as good as they once were, or as they were last year. I was thinking of the Toby Keith song, ain't as good as I once was. But at the same time, you had a first-time EVP, a first-time head coach, a first-time general manager, a first-time offensive coordinator, and a first-time defensive coordinator. And you won 13 games with all that. So again, I'm not guaranteeing that they're going to win more than that. But you made the postseason and you won the division with all those guys in their first year of doing those things.
All by changing the culture of the whole thing, the accountability. Just owning up to what we were doing wrong.
Yeah.
And look, as far as the misses, the one good thing you could tell when they cut them, like they're like, okay, we missed. It's not working. We tried. It's not working. We'll eat the money. We'll just cut our losses and move on. And that's a sign of, look, we all should do better than that, right? We make bad choices from time to time. We hang on to them too long, and then when you get rid of them, you're like, Should have got rid of that a long
Should've
time
cut
ago.
bait,
yeah,
well
should have
before
cut bait
that.
a long
Yeah.
time ago. So at least they know that they're doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, look, Greg Newsom was a bad miss. It was. I'm sorry. I would have much rather kept Tyson and seen if you could have fixed him, into your defense and because he was big and physical and fast. And he's another Monteric Brown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When he played
Just more
well.
expensive
Yeah.
at the time, and that's
True.
where I think they were.
And
going
he's doing
with that.
pretty good up at Cleveland. Now they have a good front, so that
Right.
helps. There's no question about that. But yeah, listen, the biggest thing they did was it's so simple. Just bring in the accountability. That's it. You can't make mistakes. They're not okay. We don't fix them next week. We fix them right now, and then you don't do them again. And if you do them again, we're sitting your butt or we're getting rid of you or whatever.
We're
You're
going to
not
run
gonna
alignment
conform.
assignment
If
drills
you're not
for
going
2
to
hours.
conform, we're moving on. And
Yeah,
you got to credit Big Bo for that because he set the tone for all of that. This is the kind of coach we need, this kind of general manager we need. This is what this organization needs. And all it is little tough love.
Yeah, it's
Little
all thanks to Tom
accountability. No
Coughlin,
big deal.
honestly. Because where did Tony Basilli learn all that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that tough love
TC.
side. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's why Liam is a great
Yes,
fit because
because
guess
of
what?
his dad.
Liam's dad is probably a lot like Tom
Yeah.
Coughlin was.
And I forget who said it, but someone recently said that from within the building said that Liam's dad is around a lot. Like I said, it was
Cool.
either a player,
I'd have-
another coach, or something like that.
Kidding
So-
me? I'd have my dad. They're all over the place. My dad would be like, "You're not even. I'm coming. You don't even get to invite me.
Yeah.
I'll be right there
I'm
with you."
sleeping in the building too. By the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
I do hope that they didn't miss on trading away Tank Bigsby as we look towards the running back group for next season. We've talked obviously about the players that they had to move on from.
Yeah.
And that was one of those that they didn't have to make that trade. But I just hope again that the running back room is going to be good enough and that we don't regret that move. But all right, more football to discuss on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Helmets and Heels 10 to XL 92.5 FM.
Dinner tonight? Make it easy and make it something everyone will love. With the Flame Broiler Family Meal Plan, you can feed 4 fast with fresh, flavorful options. You get 20 ounces of your choice of protein. Mix and match your favorites, plus steamed rice and a fresh veggie medley. It's a complete no-stress meal the whole family can agree on, starting at just $34.99. Skip the cooking tonight. Bring the family together and stop by any of Flame Broiler's 5 locations today.
In the game of vehicle performance and reliability, Atlantic Infiniti is always the top pick. This is Hayes Carlion. Did you know that every certified pre-owned Infiniti is inspected, factory-backed, with a limited warranty, and gets the same championship-level service as a brand-new Infiniti? Every mile will feel like first class. Check out their full certified inventory now at AtlanticInfiniti.com or visit Atlantic Infiniti off Atlantic near St. John's Bluff.
You may not be able to control the air you breathe on the outside, but you certainly can on the inside of your home. Just call Florida Home AC and ask about the Remy Halo. It's the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Hacker here for Cornerstone Interior Solutions. If your AC is working overtime every summer, your insulation may be the problem. Homeowners and builders across Northeast Florida are calling Cornerstone to upgrade to spray foam insulation. It seals homes, crawl spaces, garages, blocking in cool air and blocking out heat. So your home stays cooler, your system runs easier, and your energy bills stay under control. Don't wait for peak heat. Visit CornerstoneInteriorSolutions.com.
Buying a diamond should be fun, not stressful. But at some stores, the pressure can be intense, with pushy salespeople and mandatory deposits. But at Beard's Diamonds, owner John Lupo says that's not cool.
They wanted to sell them only what they had, wanted a deposit right then and there. They did not want them to shop, and we don't do business that way. It's pretty sad that you don't want the consumer to go shopping. That must mean that they're not confident in their pricing.
It's different at Beard's.
We encourage people to shop. We want you to go shopping, to know that you're getting a better deal and a better education at Beard's. We will do anything we can to make you happy without putting deposits down.
No deposits, no commission sales, no pressure, no pricing games, no corporate rule books. John's son Ben sums it up nicely. At Beard's, it's laid back and relationship driven.
There's plenty of options out there, but we're looking to go the extra mile when people want to patronize us, and it brings us great pleasure to see two lives be connected together.
Beard's Diamonds, locally owned with over 4 decades of doing business the right way. At St. John's Town Center and online at beardsdiamonds.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
I'm waking up again, my phone's enough to make my system slow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age.
Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Welcome to the Thursday. Maybe not a new age, but it's a radioactive Thursday around here, that's for sure. All right, so the 3 Jaguars, by the way, that still need extensions potentially: Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, and Antonio Johnson. They did rework Eric Murray's deal along with Patrick McCary back in March. But those 3 guys, as far as the new age of Jaguars, I'm assuming that there will be extensions coming for those guys. But for the here and now, we are waiting.
Yeah. Who would you get done first?
Probably.
Not that you have to, but
Right. I'd probably go Parker 1, Brenton 2, Antonio Johnson 3. That's probably how I would do it. But you can do it in any order.
Yeah, it really depends on, if you get a deal done quicker, with
it depends on
Brenton
what the agents are wanting. Obviously, that part I don't know.
what
We
the
just saw
market
that
is and all
Derwin James got a 3-year deal, $75 million. So 25,
He's the best, though.
He is.
He's one
$25
of the
million
best,
per year, and that was like just a little bit over the next highest paid safety.
Hamilton kid out of
Kyle
Baltimore.
Hamilton,
he's great.
He's great.
Yeah,
Go Irish.
of
I was
course
going
you
to say,
love him.
I have a friend who's a Florida State
That goes
fan.
without saying on any Notre Dame player,
Also
doesn't it?
true.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he is great. He's
I have a
great
friend
player.
who's a Florida State fan, and he begged the Jaguars to draft Kyle Hamilton. I'll never forget that.
He's a beast.
All right, so we believe, obviously, in our quarterback here, in Trevor Lawrence, after the season that he had. But up in Minnesota, they're still trying to figure out their quarterback situation once Sam Darnold departed for Seattle and obviously won the Super Bowl there. So after their first OTA, Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy, the quarterbacks that are battling for QB1 there in Minneapolis, they were asked how it is to deal with one another. We'll start with Kyler Murray and the competition there.
It's been great. It's been great. Obviously, I know he's a younger guy, so any way I can help him. Obviously, I feel like I've played 7 years now, going on 8. So I'm considered a veteran, even though I don't see myself as that. Give him any knowledge that he needs. Again, we're both competitors, and I know we both want what's best for the team.
Has he been receptive to hearing criticism?
Of course. Yeah, he's overly acceptive, and he's always communicating, asking questions, stuff like that. So it's been good.
I think she meant receptive, but either way. So that's Kyler's answer. And before we discuss that, let's hear what J.J. McCarthy had to say about their relationship.
JJ, what's your relationship been like with Kyler so far?
It's just like two guys in a classroom. He sits on one side, I sit on the other side, and it's the coach's responsibility to teach us and coach us. So,
is there any awkwardness like between you two?
Awkwardness, it's just like the same feeling, when you're in high school and there's another person on the other side of the room. That's just kind of how it is. So I wouldn't say there's any awkwardness.
So, yeah, very different answers. When I read the quote yesterday of J.J. McCarthy, I just kind of thought to myself, they're blowing this up because, it's a quarterback and it's a quarterback competition. And obviously anyone in the NFL loves those, especially if it provides you then with more sordid details, which is, it's not awkward at all, but yet we don't really help each other, is what JJ said.
Yeah, it was there's a few things that pop out in this. Number one, you can tell the experience of Kyler Murray in this, and he's to his point too, he's like, I don't feel like a veteran. It doesn't feel like we've been talking about Kyler 7 and almost 8 years, which is crazy, but it is, you could tell by his response that it is I've been in the league a long time and I know how to answer these type of questions. I've seen battles. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I've seen these battles happen before. I've been beat out. I've beat out other guys when it comes to this situation. And so he definitely knew how to answer it. I also think that when you're coming in, you're kind of Kyler Murray knows they paid him to come here and be the starting quarterback right now. And does that last forever? I don't know, as in the sense of an entire year. Kyler's obviously dealt with injuries almost every single year he's been in the NFL, so that's something he's going to have to battle through. But everybody knows all of the struggles that J.J. McCarthy had last year. So in Kyler's eyes, there has to be like this certain level of confidence of, they paid me a good amount of money to leave Arizona and come here and play, and so you're probably going to be starting me. And JJ's side, it's a weird answer. I don't know. You're sitting across the classroom.
I don't know what that means. I mean, usually if there's friction, like you guys are going to fight after school. Like it's a guy across the classroom, but you're not going to fight your teammate. I don't know. It just seemed weird.
It was awkward. It was almost like he didn't know how to answer. And I feel like in those situations, the best thing he probably could have done is said, competition's good for everybody. There's plenty I can learn from Kyler. He's been in the league a long time. Blah, blah, blah. There's a way
that answer requires experience with media. And I feel like JJ doesn't have, even though he met with media at Michigan.
And he was in a quarterback battle with Cade McNamara at Michigan at one point in time. So it's not even like he's never had, like some quarterbacks, they're given the job in college and it's your job and it's their job the whole time. And so when they get to the NFL, they're not used to that. But JJ McCarthy had that. Almost even, you could even argue last year to a sense. It didn't even through camp. He was also battling. It wasn't just his job when he got to the Vikings last year. So it just seems kind of weird in the sense of it doesn't seem like they're on the same page. So Kyler feels like, hey, I'm helping him and like our relationship's great, and it kind of feels like JJ's like, man, he came and took my job.
Well, it's a young punk and a vet, It's like that old saying, the two bulls on top of the hill looking down all the cows down in the valley. And the young guy's like, oh, let's run down there. And the whole guy's like, no, let's take our time. We'll be there. It's all good. You know what I mean? Like, you got a vet and you got a young kid. He obviously isn't mature enough to handle that question or prepared. I don't know. You just be like, he's just. I don't know what he meant about across the classroom. It just made no sense at all. But
that's going to go viral. Especially the moment you say that. It's the coach's job to coach us.
Yeah, what is it?
What you're saying is.
We already know that.
The two of you don't talk to one another other than if you're talking to the coaches.
Yeah, because also the way he kept and twice saying across the classroom. If you're just like, you were sitting in a classroom together, we're both learning, the coaches, blah, blah, blah. It probably wouldn't have been over, it would have a little bit, but not over talked about. But now since you're like, it's two guys sitting across the classroom and it's the coach's job.
And I know there's other quarterbacks in there too, by the way. It's not just those two.
Yeah, right.
Just a very strange answer.
Yeah, it is. And Kyler's like, whatever, man. I'm a veteran. I've made a ton of money. If you want me, I'm ready. I'm looking forward to seeing if Kevin O'Connell can get him a little honed in. I mean, the guy's got tremendous skill.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculous arm.
Yeah.
He's not a big guy, but man, he's like a video game.
Yeah.
He's so shifty and run. Kyler, I'm talking
One
about.
of the most explosive quarterbacks in the NFL.
If you can get him honed in even just a little bit, he could have a nice end of his career up there, or part of his career up there.
For sure. This from the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Y'all can always get it in on the conversation, 904-641-1010. Going back to our previous conversation, Lloyd and Etienne were arguably the best players on their side of the ball on a 13-5 team. I'm so proud of this person for saying 13-5. 13-4.
Nice. There you go.
It's just crazy how easily expendable and replaceable they are talked about now. It is rare the Jaguars have had two players play at that level during the same season. So we'll get to that on the other side. And also Tom's take. You are listening to Helmets and Heels 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Every day.
All right, I want a 32 belly option on 2-on-2. Ready?
Every play.
On 1, on 2. Let's do it!
1010XL.
Yeah, I know how awful it is to get injured, but not like my friend Tom who got rear-ended last year. Tom McManus here. Morgan & Morgan can help you. They're the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices across the nation, and over $30 billion recovered. And guess what? They don't get a single penny unless you do. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, get paid. Dial Pound Law or check out forthepeople.com.
Frank Frangie here. When you're inside the Kuhn Flowers showroom, you'll find a wide array of gift ideas that will take care of any gift-giving situation. Spend a few minutes there and you'll see for yourself. That's Kuhn Flowers on Beach Boulevard.
Hey friends, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting.
Have you ever stored a gallon of leftover paint, opened the can years later, and it's rusty, crusty, and unusable? Next time, secure the lid tightly to ensure no leaks and store the can upside down. Oxygen can't get to it, therefore no rust and no crust. If you'd like more tips or have a question about a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance painting.
Where in the United States will the World Cup be held? The answer coming up.
For over 20 years, Southern Oak Insurance has given Floridians a better alternative to their current homeowners policy. See what you can get with Southern Oak. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
11 cities in the United States are hosting this year's World Cup, with the closest being Miami and Atlanta.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call now for your free evaluation and see if multi-unit hair grafting or PRP can restore your hair. Call 904-777-IHRS.
My bald spots are gone. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS is the only clinic in the Southeast to offer all proven solutions to restore your hair and is now offering multi-unit hair grafting. One procedure, more hair.
You've got nothing to lose but more hair. I feel younger, I look younger, and who doesn't want to feel better about themselves?
This year, grow your hair back. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-4477.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Very loungy.
I was like, is this a song you requested? This is not what I was expecting.
No,
Pass the hookah.
The hookah.
Not the hooker.
The hookah is what he just said.
Pass the hooker. Come on.
The hookah.
The hookah.
Hookah is what Tom just
Or
said.
hooker in Boston. The
Yes,
hookah.
I knew with your accent it was going to sound a little different than maybe what people were expecting.
That reminds me, this was back when my 30th birthday, we had a big party at my friend Mike's house. You know Mike, Lauren. And so we had this big thing going on, and everybody was like, I'll bring this food, I'll bring this beer. We had a keg coming, we had all this stuff. It was a big bonfire. Obviously, my birthday's in December. And so one of my friends was like, do you think he'd mind if I brought my hookah? And so I texted Mike, and my phone changed it to hooker. And so I was like, do you mind if Matt brings hookers? And he was like, sure.
Well, if they're attractive, they're not. They gotta go.
He goes, men or women? That was his response. And I was like, huh? So I went back to see what I wrote. I was like, hookah, not hookers. Not hookers.
You always have
hilarious.
to go back and read your text before you hit send.
yeah,
Although now you
especially-
can edit, but I think you can
Right.
only edit iPhone
a
to
certain
iPhone.
amount and a certain amount of time, I think, after
Maybe,
send.
Right.
yeah. So
Yep.
always reread your text before
Totally.
you
Very different
send
nights
them.
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very different concepts for sure.
Absolutely.
Just as a reminder, the conversation that we were having about ETN and Lloyd and what the national perception is versus what we think. And obviously around here, we believe in this coaching staff, right? So we believe that if they think Bashal Tootin and the other guys, Chris Rodriguez, LaQuint Allen, and all that group can handle the production and replace ETN, then we're going to be on board with that. Same with Ventrell Miller and or Branson Combs or whomever they decide on defense. We're going to give them for now the benefit of the doubt because of what they were able to do with the guys last year.
Yep.
But the comment on the text line was basically along the lines of, those were two of the best guys in your team. They're not that easily replaceable. And we're not saying they're easily replaceable. We're just saying because they didn't draft a running back high and they didn't draft a linebacker high, they didn't get Jadarian Price and they didn't get Jacob Rodriguez, for instance.
Right.
So obviously they're rolling with the guys that they have.
Yeah, that just means they believe in who's already on the roster, and they're not going to do that. I told you the story of me and Schwartz. I was sweating more than him because the kid out of Ohio State, and we could have taken him. It was 27th pick. We were a good team. He was a really good player. He was available, and we went with somebody else. And I was like, phew, thank goodness, because that means They're not happy with who's on the roster. So, yeah, we'll roll with who they have. And then they just got to be right. That's all. Look, I don't
If they're not right, they'll make another trade.
Yeah,
at the
they'll
deadline
figure something out.
they're
They'll figure
contenders.
something out. Look, it is what it is. We wish both guys well in their careers. They were great Jaguars for their time. No matter what we think one way or the other. You know how I feel. I would have let Etienne go before Lloyd if I had to pick between the two. But they're not here anymore, so we go with the guys, and they just got to be right. If it's Ventrell, it's Ventrell. If it's somebody else, great. It's on the offensive side. Whether it's Tootin. Jamari Taylor, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you've got guys that can replace that kind of production that you can count on. I agree with the fact that we give them the benefit of the doubt because of the culture, because of the accountability, because they're going to earn it. That's just the way that Liam Cohen is built. He's building his team that way. The team responds very well to that. They have no problem earning it. You see them at practice. They're running around, or nobody's bitching and moaning. They're just doing what the coaches are asking them to do,
and
they're doing
added
that
Brian
at a high level.
Picucci, too, the
run game coordinator
who
from
they
Tampa.
wanted to get a year ago, but they weren't able to. Tampa blocked Liam for obvious reasons.
Right.
And then they added a defensive backs coach as well. So
exactly.
Yeah, and I think there's multiple levels to this, and I don't think that players, if anything, if the NFL's taught you anything in the last 10 years especially, it's that players are not expendable and easily replaceable. The moment a team thinks that, we can trade this guy away and we'll just draft another one or sign another one the next offseason. We've seen multiple examples of that not working. And so I do get what he's saying when it comes to that, because that was a lot of production that you're losing from this last season. And we've talked about the 13 touchdowns. You've talked about the interceptions. Those are just the box score numbers, not everything they were doing outside of that. You talk about what Etienne's good at on the perimeter and catching the ball and stuff like that when it being a part of the receiving game. And you don't know if you have that on the roster right now. And so I do think that there's obvious question marks, and you do have to think and talk about those. And the only thing you can do now, though, is look at what is on the roster and what you feel like could possibly replace some of that production. And I will say also, my bold take last year was that Etienne was going to have this resurgence year, and we were going to see him kind of flourish in this offense. And I thought he would get a big contract after the season. I just felt like it was that time of his career. But most of the people here at the station in Jacksonville were all talking about Devin Lloyd and Etienne not even being a part of this team a year ago. So they were talking about trading Etienne and keeping Tank, and that was a lot of the conversations, that it was going to be Tank and Tootin going into the regular season if any running back wasn't here. And everyone criticized Lloyd about how he couldn't cover, and there was that critique was like, okay, well, what are we going to do at linebacker, because he can only play it he can't drop back into coverage. So what are we going to do there? That's something we obviously saw him get better at.
And they didn't pick up his fifth-year option.
Yeah.
That's why there was that conversation.
All of that yeah. And so I do think that the way those seasons went, both of those guys bet on themselves. They knew they were in a spot where if they wanted another contract, and not saying that's the only reason they were good. I think there's multiple factors into this. But they had seasons that mightily impressed across the NFL, obviously, because they were two guys. Both of their names were on every single top free agent list across the NFL, and there was a reason for that. So you do have to think about it, and you do have to say, okay, do we have the people that can replace these two players and have the same production and fit in like you did? But then you also have to have the conversation of, a year ago you didn't think that, so how much was it coaching these players to be and take that next step that both of the guys took?
But one thing Etienne wasn't good at is running between the tackles, right? And Liam Cohen, I think, in his offense, he wants a running back that, even when the defense knows is going to run, is able to get those yards. And look, Etienne was phenomenal for this team. No one's
he
going
got
to
better
deny
at that this year too, and I think some of that is coaching.
Yeah, the coaches definitely helped. They simplified it for Devin. And again, I'm one of the rare. I actually liked his game. The coverages were more in his head than physical. But that's part of it. You got to know what you're doing out there.
Have the mental too.
And I think they figured it out and made it easier for him to read, understand coverage, where to be in that coverage, and then utilize your skills. In that, whether that's reading the quarterback's eyes, just running to the football, being in the lanes, making things happen, and that type of thing. But again, if we've got it on the roster, they must believe we do. That's where they get to the benefit of the doubt after 13 wins. And if they're not, then we'll hammer the hell out of them and be like, you were wrong. Right. Like, you should have done that. But we're not expecting that, right? Yeah. We're expecting the guys who they have. And look, if they go out and add here and there, whatever. But as they have it right now, we're expecting those guys to fill the void. Like Tootin's got to be the guy, or LeQuint,
and they're
whatever.
going to get more help thanks to the 12 personnel, the 13 personnel, Emmanuel Pregnant. Like, there's multiple things that go into it. It's not just Tootin. We expect to be as good as ETN, as how I would phrase it.
Correct. I agree with that. It's going to be a by committee, but you do have to replace at least a good bit of that production. So 13 touchdowns, you better get at least 9 or 10. Not out of one guy, but collective. You know what I mean? Running and passing. So however you do that, maybe it's with the new tight ends. Maybe they do replace some of that production and we can slide it over here, and be okay with that, But it's 13 touchdowns is a lot. And the one thing about ETN, no, he wasn't good up the middle. He was great off the tackle, like we always talked about. But, man, when he was getting shut down in the run game, he was great in the pass game. He really made a lot of plays in that pass game. Probably could have made a lot more if they gave him more opportunities. So, again, we wish him well. He's not a Jag, but these other guys.
He's a saint.
Yeah.
He's a saint. Yeah, hopefully not an ain't.
No.
Yeah.
That they're not, when they're not doing well, they become the ain'ts. But we'll see about that. Yeah, the paper bags. But we'll see. Listen, again, they must feel that it's on the roster or they would have made changes, right? They would have added. They would have gone after somebody. Whether they're right or wrong, we don't know. I was saying earlier on the horse's mouth, I'm like, someone asked me, well, what would you have done? I said, look, if we added Trey Hendrickson, it would have changed our defense. Like, boom. Boom. We're now a top 5 defense.
Or Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, somebody like that. Yeah. Right. Somebody that impact.
Max
but
Crosby,
they chose not to go that route.
Yeah.
They're going a different route. So we got to wait and see if that's the correct route.
And we will criticize them if they get it wrong every 2 hours.
And we will
Monday through Friday.
Congratulate them when they get it right.
Absolutely. Let's hope it's more of the congratulations. All right, Tom's take, I promise, is on the other side. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
You'll still hear Frank Monday through Thursday. Now Fridays feature The Lead with Hayes Carline and Ryan O'Halloran, 4 to 6 on 1010XL.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at KeyBuickGMC.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
It's Gator passion on display when Patrick Young brings power forward intensity to the drill.
Patrick Young, a rip and a run.
Fast breaks and clutch shots with Dan and Jeff. Friday mornings at 8:30. Tipped off by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and Kuhn Flowers.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie for the farm at Okefenokee. My wife and I and a bunch of friends just got back from the farm, and we had an incredible experience. We toured the regenerative farm, as well as the beautiful handcrafted cabins, and were treated to a fantastic farm-to-table dinner created by Congreve and Penn. Man, was it good. Well, you can learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com. And even hear my interview with farm co-founder Doug Davis to learn even more about this amazing property. That's okefarm.com.
Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents. Look no further, though, than I-9 Sports, covering Duval, St. John's, and Clay to get your youngster in the game. Summer and fall registration open right now for flag football, soccer, t-ball, and basketball, plus girls volleyball at UNF and Bishop Snyder. Fields and gyms all over the First Coast, including Fort Family Field. And the best thing is, I-9 Sports offers sports year-round, so kids can always find a sport to play. i9sports.com, enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Preparation for the season begins now. 1010XL's coverage of this year's organized team activities is brought to you by Cash Building Material, Windows Done Right, and Dexafit Jacksonville. Know your body, transform your life.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Higgins' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Discover the thrill of Sharks football. Fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. It's Star Wars night. Presented by HCA Florida Healthcare. Don't miss this Saturday, May 30th, as your Sharks look to continue their winning ways. Kickoff 7 o'clock and tickets start at just $15. This is the fun you've been looking for. The first 1,000 kids receive a free lightsaber. Dress up as your favorite character and get photos with members of the 501st Legion before the game. The Force is strong with this deal. Try our family 4-pack. Get 4 tickets and $50 in food or merchandise vouchers, all for only $100. Join us on field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at just $15. To get yours, call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks! I'm Chris Wayne with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Jaguars will open the Miller Electric Center up to fans for their June 10th practice. Tickets are free, but they're limited and going fast. Get yours now at jaguars.com/minicamp. And after reaching the semis in the SEC tournament, the Gator baseball team is gearing up to face Rider University in the NCAA Regionals. Game 1's first pitch at 1 p.m. tomorrow on 1010 a.m. It's 88 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's team time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Whoa, whoa, If I can make a living from walking in the woods.
So this is a song by Luke Bryan called Fishin', Huntin', and Lovin' Every Day.
Yeah.
Okay, just file that one away. Fishin', Huntin', and Lovin' Every Day.
Okay.
In the next segment, we'll come back with another song, and I want you to listen to that, contrast and compare. But again, this one is called Fishin', Huntin', Lovin' Every Day. Okay. All right. Moving on to...
is it, wait a minute.
Yes.
Can we,
Yeah, pause.
So is it loving every day or loving every day?
Yeah. Fishing,
Which
hunting,
one?
loving every day. Because you're fishing and hunting, not
loving.
You're not getting loving.
I mean, you might
That's
be.
what I'm thinking. Fishing, hunting, and getting some love.
Well, we know where,
That's a
where
good
your
one.
brain is today.
I am a boy.
For
You
sure.
girls aren't immune. Give me a break. Give me a break. Yeah.
Never
Great
said.
tone.
Never said we were. All right, time now for Tom's take. Buckle up.
Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com, or dial pound law. That's all.
All right, my take today on this beautiful Thursday afternoon, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, is kind of like in that loving every day. Not the funny kind of way I was trying to be, but loving every day. And the reason is watching Travis Hunter run around on Monday. Now, not run around like crazy run around, but jogging, bounding, floating, the way he looks, the way he runs, it's so effortless. It just made me think, like, man, there's so many people out there going through rehab right now with an injury, right? And you're probably down on your dumps, and you're probably just thinking, like, man, I'm never going to find the end. And then you hear the story of watching Travis bounce around after his devastating injury. So the key is what? Just keep working, keep focusing on getting yourself better. You can get better no matter how bad it seems. It'll get better if you keep working at it every day. Because trust me, he didn't just wake up and all of a sudden was better. That guy had to rehab like crazy. He's still rehabbing like crazy, and he probably will continue to rehab like crazy until that thing is absolutely fully ready to go and healed. So hang in there out there. Do your work, do your stuff, do your therapy. But you can, too, be bouncing around on the clouds before you know it. That's my take, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com, and on your cell at Pound Law. That's all.
I also think attitude plays a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And look, I understand you probably have to give yourself a few days when it's a season-ending injury
doubt.
to deal with all of
Absolutely.
the emotions that go into it, especially if you're somebody like we were talking about with Caleb Ransaw that hadn't really had injuries in the past. And then now you don't get to play your rookie season in the NFL. And especially
Injuries
now,
suck.
too, they draft another safety and you're probably looking around like, dang, time or life comes at you fast, right?
Yeah.
When that stuff happens. But I do think attitude plays a huge part of it and attacking the rehab to your point, but also the resources that these guys have for their rehab is a little different than the average person. We talked about that video.
Oh, yeah.
I think you were on vacation, Taylor, but there was that 20-minute long video of Travis Hunter rehabbing, and you can see his trainer working with him with electrodes on his leg.
Yeah.
And it goes up to 100. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
and
right,
he was
right,
only
right.
at like
Yeah,
8.
eight,
And his
right.
trainer was like, we need to get you to like
80 or
yeah,
something.
80. And he was like, well, what am I at now? And the trainer's like, 8. And he's like, you said 80? And he's like, no, 8.
Yeah, the
Like, that's-
strength of his quad, basically.
But they have so many more resources too.
Yeah.
So if your timeline doesn't look exactly like an NFL player or an NBA
Might not be
player, I
as
get
quick,
that.
but you do look. So a lot of those rehab places are doing a lot of the same
That's
stuff.
very true.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe not to the exact degree, but pretty darn close.
Yeah.
You know, your family rehabilitation center, they got all that stuff, right, Brooks?
So growing up, people would always ask me. My mom, for people who don't know, is a speech therapist pathologist at Brooks for many, many, many years. And so people would always ask, because the last name Brooks, like, oh, so your family owns Brooks? And
Right.
she would always just go, yeah, like,
Sure.
yeah, absolutely. But what's funny is the founder of Brooks and the reason it's named Brooks is Brooks Brown. So the last name is actually Brown. And had
Brown.
absolutely nothing to do with our
It's
family.
actually
But
Brooks.
she would just walk around and be like, oh, yeah, sure. That's in the
funny.
family.
I had people in high school convinced my family owned the dollhouse. A little bit different than Brooks Rehab.
Back to this.
Yeah.
No, that was Hooker. Sorry, strippers. I didn't mean to put you in the same category. Going off the rails.
But to your point, Lauren, when you're talking about somebody like Caleb Ransaw and how devastating that has to be, because it is like you get drafted, this is your chance, and then you lose your whole rookie season, and then they draft a safety, and then it has to be in your head at points of, oh no, was that my shot? I mean, look, this last year, Walker Little gets hurt and doesn't get his job back, not because Cole Van Lannon comes in and does a really good job, and so we see it happen.
It happened with Travis Etienne. It
Etienne,
happened with Dante Fowler Jr. Like,
It happened with Tom McManus, twice.
Yeah.
You know, it is devastating. It's
I
terrible.
mean, like their
It's awful.
rookie season
Getting hurt in
lost
rookie year.
before
Yeah,
you
right.
even play a snap in
Yeah.
the NFL.
Yeah. Any time, you know, it's just part of the nature of the beast. You
But
know,
if you want to speak in third person the rest of the show, by all means.
I didn't want you to forget about no. Look at me,
like, me too.
What about me, man? No, but it's devastating. I mean, look,
And
you know,
isolating. That's the part
Yeah.
that I always go back to.
yeah, no doubt, especially when they move your locker to the middle of the locker room. That's not a good sign. That yeah,
I did want to ask you, with OTAs, obviously, we talked about the fact that Josh Hines-Allen wasn't there, and it's
Yeah.
voluntary, so a
Yeah.
coach certainly cannot say anything. We saw a few years ago when Tom Coughlin was the EVP.
Yeah,
He wasn't
mandatory,
thrilled.
right,
yeah,
right, right,
and all that kind of stuff. But I heard Ryan O'Halloran join the guys on XL Primetime earlier, and he made it sound like maybe that isn't the best look, and not necessarily that Liam's upset by any means, but just it isn't necessarily the best look for one of your team leaders, a guy that's highly paid, to not be at OTAs.
Nah, I don't.
I
Not
don't
an
think
OTA.
it's a big deal at
Mini
all.
camp, if he blew off mini camp, that'd be a different.
Well, and that's
story.
mandatory, so that's completely different.
OTAs. I don't know. I mean, would it be good if he's out there? I
Is
guess.
a pass rusher really getting that
They're not
much
really doing that
work?
much.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not really doing that much. And look, you can count on that Josh Hines-Allen's going to come in shape. He's going to come in great shape. You know, the one thing I would to combat that though, but look, you got all this Johnny. Like, fly your guys in here. You know, work out with us, and then go do your extra stuff with them. You know what I mean? I know that sounds a little bit, but still,
like I
you
said,
have
based
the
off
means
of
to do it.
Instagram, I'm pretty sure he's on vacation with his family.
he was at a
in
deli
New York
in
City.
New York.
But he does go to Arizona, I know, to work.
Yeah.
To
Yes,
work out.
I just don't think that's why he's gone
Not
right
it.
now. Because
No,
I also
right.
saw his wife post pictures in New York with the family and stuff too.
So you think the posting of the you probably shouldn't post the pictures while your teammates are on the field?
Yeah.
You know, that's not that great of a look. I'm sorry, but him not being there
If he
as
was
a player,
training
I
somewhere
wouldn't care.
else, yeah.
I wouldn't care.
I could
One
see
way or the other.
both ways in the sense of, you know, if you feel you are one of the higher paid higher paid guys on this roster. People look up to you for your leadership. And so should your leader be out on the field, like if Trevor Lawrence wasn't there, there'd be a lot of criticism. And I think we've battled that conversation a lot here in Jacksonville of who's the leader of the defense. I think probably a lot of people say Foye because it just feels, the amount of time he's been in the league and just the consistency of Foye Oluokun.
And the position that he has, the green dot, all that stuff.
Yeah, but it does a lot of, when it comes to Josh Hines-Allen, a lot of people have wanted him to kind of embrace that leadership role, and you kind of ask for that. And so people would expect you to be at something like that, at, OTAs, voluntary, mandatory, whatever. We've seen him not be there. That's part of it, is it's kind of like there's certain guys aren't going to do the voluntary proportion, but they'll be there all the time. I think some of the criticism also comes from you didn't have the best season. People want to see you have more sacks. So maybe if you're coming off a good sack season and people are happy, then they're not going to criticize you as much for not being at the voluntary stuff.
And if we didn't know you're on vacation.
Yeah, if you're not posting you're at a deli in New York, maybe people just think you're working out somewhere else.
And
you get the benefit of the doubt.
In today's day, too, they tell the players, don't post while you're away.
Yeah.
Wait till you get home and then post. Like, don't let the people know that you're out of town.
Yeah.
That's like a 101. So
and that's not just players. I think that I've talked to people that say they absolutely never.
People in general, yeah.
Right. Just don't post until they come back home just to make sure. Yeah, I get that. All right, Lawrence Lane on the other side, and that song that I promised.
Right.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
You know Dan Hicken.
It's good to be the king.
And you know Jeff Prosser.
It's about gaining control of your life and letting go at the same time.
Mornings on the Drill.
You sure you're not making this up as you go along?
On 1010XL.
Tom McMahon is here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned and operated business on the First Coast for nearly 20 years. Known for reliability, quality craftsmanship, and professional service, Armstrong Fence handles it all, from big projects like stadiums and schools to your very own backyard. They build a wicked strong fence, and they do it right the first time. When you need a fence in Jacksonville, trust Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
Frank Frangie here, and Big Chief Tire makes it easier than ever to get the tires you need with the Big Chief credit card. No annual fee, low monthly payments, and great promotional financing. Plus, you get free flat repairs and rotations, and right now, $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. I love how simple they make everything. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com to apply for the credit card and get the tires you need today. That's Big Chief Tire.
Sent in, and Sporting Jacks breaks through first.
For the latest on Jacksonville's pro soccer teams, join the Sporting Jacks Coaches Show, presented by Honda of the Avenues, every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010 AM and 1010XL.com.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Dailies, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Dailies, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Dailies. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Dailies is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Dailies. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Dailies is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Dailies. Dailies is made fresh, it's made local, and Dailies is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
Hey there, poker players. The Poker Atlas Tour is bringing 7 action-packed poker events to Best Bet St. Augustine from June 18th to the 28th, including the $600 no-limit hold'em title event with a $200,000 guarantee. Plus, don't miss Event 1, a $300 no-limit hold'em tournament featuring a $100,000 guarantee. Satellites are happening now at Best Bet St. Augustine. Visit bestbetjacks.com for tournament structures and all the details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Looking for your locally raised beef for your family? Houston's Meat Company proudly carries North Florida cattle raised right here in our community. From fresh ground beef to hand-cut steaks and roasts, every cut is USDA choice or higher. Locally raised from birth to harvest with no added hormones or antibiotics. It's quality you can taste and local sourcing you can feel good about. For more than 50 years, Jacksonville's families have trusted Houston's Meat Company for quality meats at great prices. Houston's Meat Company, Main Street at 295.
It's a week-long flash sale right now from Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning for $125 and $5.99 air duct cleaning per unit. Book now before the offer disappears. Call 287-5727. Flash sale now through the end of the week. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning for $125 and air duct cleaning for $5.99 per unit. Call 287-5727. 287-5727. Zero Res. Spelled backward or forward, it's the right way to clean.
Weight loss gets a lot easier when you stop guessing. Reclaim by Awaken 180. 10 weeks, a real target, finish line, and most importantly, results. Medication-free and free support for life at awaken180weightloss.com.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy Drink, designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus, straight from Dana White and AB, celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
If it wasn't for the tax man, wasn't for the bills. If it wasn't for the traffic in my windshield.
So this is also Luke Bryan.
Yep.
And this song is called Fish Hunt Golf Drink.
Oh, okay.
Hunting, fishing, loving every day. And now the new song, Fish Hunt Golf Drink.
Okay.
There's a
He's
theme
taking
here.
on golf. Has he always golfed?
He's gotten older.
I've never heard him talk about golf.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's a newer thing. Or he could just be like, a lot of golfers listen to my music, so I'm going to just add that one in this time around.
Yeah, he's like, not getting the loving, so I got to get some golf.
Yeah, I'll go play golf.
Maybe that's why you're not getting that. But yeah, I'm not making fun of Luke Bryan. Obviously, I love country music, and Luke Bryan's awesome in concert. He's a lot of fun. when I heard the new song, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I was like, that's eerily similar to another song that he has.
Yeah.
And then today I had enough time to like contrast and compare. And I was like, these are so similar.
When did the other one come out? Do you remember?
The Fishing, Hunting, Loving Every Day? I'll look it up.
Yeah, it was a little while ago.
I knew it was a while
definitely
ago.
years ago.
I was just wondering if it's like approaching a mark where it's like in
a redo.
10 years or whatever to where they're
March of 2016.
Yeah, so 10 years.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Taylor knows her music.
That's right.
Good thinking.
Yeah, I was like, maybe it's hitting that 10 year. And he's like, oh, let's just make a new one
Let's run it
similar,
back.
but with my new hobbies in it.
Yeah. Hobby.
Must be nice, right?
Yeah. Loving's a good hobby.
All right, time
Fishing,
now.
hunting, golfing.
Every day.
Yeah.
Time now for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
Thank you for playing along, RJ Saunders, with that game. By the way, it looks like at least around here, the rain and thunderstorms are coming. So for everybody that works outside, make sure you take a little cover there. All right, time now, like I said, for Lauren's Lane. The first thing we're going to discuss tonight is the 2026 ASUN Hall of Fame class induction.
Ooh.
And there's one name in particular that I had to recognize, Dallas Moore of the UNF men's basketball team.
Okay.
He finished his career, I want to say 2015, so a little over 10 years ago. There at UNF, certainly a prolific scorer, and then ended up playing professional basketball as well. But he gets to go into the ASUN Hall of Fame. And
Cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
I just thought
awesome.
that was absolutely
Heck
very cool.
yeah. Great accomplishment.
There you go, RJ. Round of applause
Really
for
good
Dallas.
one.
Great guy, too.
Mhm.
I want to just throw this out there. Y'all may have seen this already, but Florida's offensive coordinator, Buster Faulkner, the deals for their coordinators were announced today. $2.1 million.
Wow.
The first coordinator at Florida to go over $2 million.
Wow.
Just
Good for him.
insane to think of where we've gotten. Whereas
Yep.
just a few years ago, like 10 years ago, head coaches were making just double that probably.
Yeah, right.
And now head coaches are obviously making in double-digit millions, and
Yep.
coordinators are making over $2 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. And we wonder why we have to pay like $500 for a good ticket now to get in and watch these teams.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it
it's
is.
good
I
for
heard,
the assistants, though. They're making more
yeah, and I heard Matt Hayes talking about that earlier. Obviously, he came back from the meetings today, and they were talking all sorts of stuff. I was laughing a little bit because Joe was like, "Did they talk about actual football at all, or was it just NIL and portal and expansion and all of that stuff. And Matt was like, no, not really any actual football.
But I don't think they normally do at the spring meetings.
Well,
I think
some
that's more
rule
media
changes and
days.
stuff they will discuss and like
Right.
sometimes if there's like a big rule that they want to try to like change or whatever, that will be the first place that they'll be like, hey, what about making a touch, a catch 2 feet, whatever the case may be. But I do think he said, we criticize these players for the money and all of that stuff, but we're seeing coaches now make $13 million as a college football head coach. When do they start getting the criticism too of the pay and stuff like that? So it will be interesting because they're going to argue, okay, these college athletes, student athletes are making millions. I should be making millions. And then that argument, that's going to just keep growing and growing eventually.
Where does all the money come from?
Yeah.
Well, I know the answer. It's TV networks, and
Yeah.
then we pay.
Yeah.
That's why there's all those separate different streaming things that we all have to pay for. By the way, Phil Troutwine, the offensive line coach, Tom,
Yep.
by 2027, so not this season, but next season, he'll make $1 million.
Okay. Man.
Now, he's great at recruiting, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But to think an offensive line coach is now making $1 million is wild.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's
good for
today's
them.
day and age,
Yeah,
right?
it's today's market, I guess. We were talking about when you were out. The salaries from 1995 to today, like the minimum salary is ridiculously different. It's like 700, 800 grand in difference. Like rookies not ever playing a snap, if they make the team, their salary is $885,000 on top of their sign, which is great. I mean, that's great to be able to you could be a backup and making $1 million. You know what I mean? That's like, and you're not a quarterback.
Right.
Like that was unheard of forever.
To be a position coach making $1 million has come a
absolutely.
long way. And you have to wonder, like some of these position coaches, if you're making, let's say, like I said, $1 million for Phil Troutwine at Florida, to go be an offensive coordinator, let's say, and you don't normally see the path of offensive line to offensive line coach, but sometimes like Doug Marrone is an example. But Phil Troutwine, I don't know if he wants to be an OC or not. But either way, let's say a school is going to offer you 1.2 to be an offensive coordinator. I'd rather stay the offensive line coach. All I have to worry about is my one position group, recruiting those guys. And I understand that if you want to eventually be a head coach, you have to keep progressing.
Right.
I'm just saying, and as far as the job responsibilities, the offensive line coach making $1 million is much easier than going to be an OC and having the full responsibility and probably getting fired after a year if the offense doesn't look good.
I can remember the late Monty Kiffin. He was getting $2.5 million a year as a defense coordinator. He's like, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a head coach. I don't need to be a head coach. I'm very happy. I'm happy I'm making two at a hook every year. And he was one of the best defensive coordinators, in the history of the game. So, look, again, it's only going up. Yeah. Everything's going up. College, and that means ticket prices.
Yeah.
Everyone wait till the new stadium comes. Just wait to see what those are going to look like.
Which I do wonder at some point, like we talk about for concerts, how those prices are astronomical. And some people say, well, I can't afford that, so I'm not going to go to the concert. And if enough people said, I can't afford that, I'm not going to go, if we saw that translate to sports, especially football and men's basketball, the super expensive ones, would then the prices come down? Like, do we have to almost have, that agreement
Boycott
amongst
going.
each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what is that number? Because I mean, you see people obviously spend hundreds and then thousands on tickets and concerts. And I know like the festival, the people that do like EDC, for example, are spending thousands for a weekend, and that's hundreds and hundreds of people, thousands of people probably going to that. So they don't have an issue with it. So at what point does it get to the point where it's like, hey, we're getting to the point where you're bottoming out and you're leaving out a whole portion of people, like true fans that can't attend, or true fans of the artist, true fans of the team, whatever the case may be, they can't go. And now you're just getting, which we talk about the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is not for us; it's for all
corporate America.
Yeah, it's corporate America, and that's just what
Yep.
it is. And so it feels like the World Series, I feel like it has those tickets, but I do think that it's still manageable. You hear people, it's not cheap at all, but you'll hear, $400, $500, $600. It's not $10,000 for most of the time. And so I do think that there has to be some point where it's like, this is getting a little out of hand. The normal fan is not going to be able to attend these. We're already spending $1,000 to watch them on TV all year long.
Yeah. And just think, look, capacity 62.5 in the new one, so if they win and there's not as many seats as before, it's just supply and demand. It's just going to go up. You get thinking about the Super Bowl, like the corporate sponsors grab all those tickets. Well, I gotta imagine they do that around every city. Like, go to your major corporations, be like, hey, we need your support, and we need you to gobble up whatever amount of tickets. Give it to your employees, give it to your clients, give it to your business people, whatever. But we need, to fill that void, because what if it does get too expensive? The ones that can afford it are the corporations.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
And
I
then
wonder
they
if
just
that's
charge
part of the model.
us as customers more. So in the end, we're still paying for
Well,
it.
if you work for you get tickets.
Right.
Maybe you don't
I'm
pay
saying,
for
like,
the
if
tickets,
it's
is what I'm
whatever
saying.
the bank is.
If it's JEA, and their prices are going up because they have to pay for those tickets. That's not why the prices go up, but you know what I mean. In the end, we all end up paying
prices
for
are
it
going up.
in
Let's stick it
general.
to them and their rates.
Exactly. And no offense, JEA. I'm not
Yeah.
saying you did
That's
anything wrong. All right. So when it comes to the Women's College World Series, I'm not obviously as invested as I would have been had Florida been there, but I will give you the update. Texas Tech beat Mississippi State 8-0 earlier today, and Tennessee is beating Texas 3-0. That game is in the bottom of the third. Again, they're in Oklahoma City. And then NCAA baseball regionals begin tomorrow. In Athens, you've got Liberty versus Boston College
All right.
at 2 p.m.
Come on.
That'll be on one TV.
Fly, you'll fly.
That's right. That'll be on one TV because also, a little bit earlier, at 1 p.m. is when Florida plays Ryder.
Okay.
And then the second game of that one, Miami versus Troy at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. And then the second game in the Athens Regional, Georgia versus Long Island at 7 p.m. Georgia, I feel like, is going to run rule them, but we've seen stranger things in college baseball. And then over in Tallahassee, FSU takes on St. John's at 3 p.m. and then Northern Illinois against Coastal Carolina at 8 p.m.
Northern Illinois got a good baseball.
Yeah, I
team.
didn't know
they
that.
Wow.
Did Florida announce who they're pitching tomorrow? Not yet.
Not that I've seen. I assume that we will find that information out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Day of the game.
Some good stuff.
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
If any of
We're in
y'all
the thick
know,
of it.
if any of y'all have sources, because I know everywhere around Jacksonville has sources when it comes to Florida baseball because of Aiden King. If y'all know, hit us up on the text line, Design My Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. And this one person on the text line said Knicks courtside tickets are going for $280,000. When you said hundreds or thousands, first thing
beyond.
I thought of was Knicks courtside tickets are hundreds of thousands.
I just mean
of
getting in the building.
Of course.
Like just
Yeah,
to get in
right.
the building,
Yeah.
you're paying
Yeah.
thousands. And it's just insane.
It's like the Super Bowl just to get in is a few
Yeah.
thousand these around these times,
Yeah.
It's wild.
I don't know at what point is the breaking point, right? Like for the average household, let's say just mom and dad are going, not necessarily the full family of 3 or 4.
Yeah.
What have
To the Super
5.
Bowl or the Jag game?
No, just like a
to
Jags game.
or a
Yeah,
Jag
I
game.
wonder what like the average breaking point is. Like, all right, we can afford to go, and I'm talking about one game, not season tickets.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can afford to go if it's under
X amount.
$400
Yeah.
or over $400. At that point, we can't go. And I'm just throwing a number out
Yeah.
there. I have no
Yeah.
idea, but I just wonder where that is.
I saw what some people were paying for those Taylor Swift tickets.
Yeah.
a while
I didn't
ago.
see that. How much were those?
Yeah.
I mean, it was some people. I want to
Thousands.
say, $20,000. I saw that somebody I know for him and his 3 daughters paid $20,000 to see Taylor Swift.
Wow.
This was the last time when she did that big
Eras
Eras
tour.
tour or whatever.
Oh, my
The
daughters
fact
ain't
that-
listening.
Or maybe you hope that they are. The fact that I knew it was the Eras tour, I'm very surprised.
Yeah,
by.
right. Wow.
I'm not a Swiftie,
Yeah,
but
I did see, by the way, Bob Nightingale posted that the MLB proposes the first salary cap since August of 1994 at $245.3 million with a salary floor of $171.2 million. So for the first time
Yes.
in a really long
Wow.
time, we're seeing a salary cap and floor proposed in Major League Baseball.
Wow. How about that?
And to give you an idea, we know how much like the top teams are spending. It's somewhere around $239 million, but total payroll, that's on the active roster. Total payroll, for instance, for the Phillies, $281 million for this season.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
over. They pay the luxury tax. They don't really care about that. But as far as that floor, what it would raise to, again, you said $177 million.
Yep.
So of the total payroll, basically half the league is below $177
Wow, no kidding.
million
Of the floor, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I know, like,
Okay.
the Mets and Dodgers are at like 400 and something million.
You're right.
For their
So they just pay the
payroll.
luxury tax?
Yeah.
Is that how it'll still
If
work?
they go
I
over,
don't
they
know
pay
what
the
it
luxury
looks at
tax.
what
yeah,
this
for the
right now
floor-
it does, but I don't
Right.
know if they put a floor and a ceiling. I don't know.
Yeah, the Miami Marlins spend, again, total payroll, not just active roster,
Yep.
78, almost 79 million. And then that goes up to and this is the 15th team in Major League Baseball. The Los Angeles Angels spend 173 million. So teams 15 through 30 are all below that floor of $177 million for total payroll. Obviously, their active roster is even less than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's only 14 teams in the league right now that spend over $177 million, and that's not even close to that cap figure of 39 million.
245 is the 171.2 is the floor.
Yeah, so teams that spend over 245 right now, there are just 6 teams. That would be the Mets, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Phillies, and the Braves. The Braves spend 267 for reference. And like I said, the Mets actually 334. That's the highest. That's just insane. I would love for us to get to that point in time and make those not just the cheap teams, but a lot of the teams spend
so
way more.
20 of the 30 are below or above the cap and floor right now.
So above or below the floor would be 15 teams.
Yeah, and then 6 above.
Yeah, and so you have to wonder for some owners, if they can't afford that, would they sell the team? And then the fans would rejoice. At least I know that's the case like in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, finally we can spend some money.
Right. I would put the Rays in there, but they just obviously sold. And obviously Patrick Zalewski and his team and Kinbaby and all of them, they I think are going to eventually spend more. Obviously that starts with the new stadium. Good stuff there from Bob Nightingale. Thanks, Taylor. All right, more to do on the other side, including the golden moment. Keep it right here. 10 to next on 92.5 FM.
Jacksonville's home for Florida Gators baseball.
Florida is chomping at the bit to start their run to Omaha against the Ryder Broncs in regional tournament action. Catch the first pitch tomorrow at 1 on 1010 a.m.
What if your next fun day out costs you $70 to play all day? That's exactly what you get at the Battalion Airsoft Arena, the only indoor airsoft battlefield in Jax. Skip the same old boring entertainment choices and step into real action with your crew. Perfect for birthdays, company team building, graduation parties, or just epic weekend fun. No experience, no problem. The Battalion package includes everything: gun, mask, and ammo with unlimited play. So lock in your mission now at BattalionAirsoftArena.com. For the greenest, luscious lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be a 9-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award. Trust me, I know this. I've been dealing with Nimnick forever, and they really are that good. You know, for 3 generations, Nimnick's been the place customers keep coming back to. Customers like me, treating you right, giving the most back to our community, more choices and better prices. It's just the best place to buy cars, and I can promise you that. So who gives you the best experience when you're buying a car? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my success with back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Have you been thinking about selling your home and you haven't pulled the trigger? Let me tell you about Chad and Sandy and the experts that will help you make that decision. Mortgage rates have dropped. They're expected to move lower. Home sales momentum is building, so now's the time to get your home ready to maximize your sales price. It's time to call Chad and Sandy, the proven experts to sell your home. Need to sell now, need to sell fast, need max price. Check, check, check. Chad and Sandy have the science behind it. Using their proprietary Market Max system, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Jonathan writes from Mount Pleasant. The only thing standing between me and my dream of hitting the road in my RV was selling my Mount Pleasant home. After hearing Chad and Sandy on the radio, I gave them a call. The results were unreal. In just 3 days, I had multiple offers at full asking price. So can you. Call the local experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy, 414-6200 or chadandsandy.com.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
So we talked about in the last segment some of the news coming out of Major League Baseball, a proposal to add a ceiling and a floor, which a lot of people have been asking for, the first time that this has been proposed since 1994. We also got some news out of the NBA, and RJ, I wanted to talk to you about this one, get your thoughts. So tweeted today, Shams said the NBA's Board of Governors has passed new anti-tanking rules that include expanding the draft lottery from 14 to 16 teams, a relegation zone where the bottom 3 teams get penalized with lessened chances for the number 1 pick, and flattened odds, sources tell ESPN. Thoughts on that?
It's not like they're not going to find another way to tank. I mean, I don't think going into this year, I think I agree with some of those who have the mindset. I don't know if tanking's really going to be vogue coming into next season. I think that there are just a couple of names in this particular draft that teams felt that if we are to have them and acquire them, they will be the starting point of turning our entire franchise around. Now, when it comes to the Washington Wizards, if they are to select AJ DeBanza with the number 1 overall pick, alongside with Trae Young, Anthony Davis, if you're able to convince him to stay in Washington and he doesn't want to get traded, you're now looking at a Wizards team that potentially could be a team that would be in the playoffs or the top 6, or something of that nature. I think the Utah Jazz are also going to be a team there as well. It seems that they may get Cameron Boozer, which would be a great, full circle moment. His dad played in Utah for a long time, was an all-star there. So, I can understand it for this past season and how crazy it was in terms of the tanking. I mean, teams were openly tanking. They weren't hiding it. I think they were telling, some guys, kind of get the season-ending surgery so that you don't play. You're sitting guys in the fourth quarter and you're up 17 points, the Utah Jazz against the Orlando Magic, and then don't play them the entire fourth quarter. So I don't know if it's going to be that way this year, because I think the teams that were openly trying to do it, they got their wish. A lot of them are, on the top half of the draft. So it's like, it's not like this rule is really going to apply to us. We got what we wanted last year, now going into the NBA draft and potentially moving forward into, free agency and things of that nature. So, I get the rule, but probably a little bit late on this one for the teams that are saying we already did our damage. I mean, you making this rule for us really doesn't affect us anyway.
Yeah, I don't think the NBA... Let me rephrase. The NBA has an issue with tanking, but I don't think that when it comes to the postseason, anyone's still talking about tanking, if that makes sense, right? Like, once the NBA playoffs begin, that whole conversation about tanking in the regular season goes away. So at least it's not a black cloud over the postseason, which is obviously when some people start paying attention.
until the draft happens.
Yeah, until the draft happens. By the way, some other news, Russell Sandifer will be the pitcher for Florida. Yep. He's the one that was pitching against Georgia this past Saturday in the SEC tournament, got hit by a 105-mile-per-hour comebacker right on his right arm. They took him out because... that's his pitching arm, and so, or pitching hand, pitching arm. You don't want to potentially risk further injury as it's swelling up, but x-rays were negative, which was great news. So a few hours ago, Kevin O'Sullivan let us know that, and so thank you to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures for that update. Somehow, some way I missed that, but that's great news in terms of Russell Sandifer is okay, but also that means that, because again, this is Ryder against Ryder, that you get to save Aiden King and Liam Peterson. So just depends on which way Sully wants to go. go. And it feels like Florida has healthier pitching arms now than at the beginning of the season, which is also good as we
Very
head
good.
into this postseason that begins tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to have the arms, man. Got to have them nice and healthy and ready
Got to
to
have
go.
lots of them, too.
Got to have the bats. Got to have the arms. Got to have it all.
The bats have
No
come to
doubt.
life, which was certainly a problem for part of it.
Hey, quick to RJ. RJ,
Yeah.
do they close out tonight? The Thunder close them out, or what do you think? We get tied back up?
Yeah, I think we'll see everybody in OKC for a game.
Is
7.
that right?
I think Game 7 is going to be electric.
Game 7 is going to be electric, but I think that this is only helping the New York Knicks. Kind of in the grand scheme of things. I don't think just due to the fact that you guys are resting, but I mean, I think I've said it since Game 1. Not only has this been absolute cinema, but this has been a
cinnamon.
Cinema. Yeah, this has been an absolute war, and I mean, you know, guys are now out for some teams. I think this is the last time we probably see Jalen Williams on the floor because that hamstring. It just seems to me, if I were OKC, I'd say, kind of let that heal up and we'll get ready for next season. And it also seems to me that OKC has shown that they can more than win games without, their second best player on the floor. And then you also have on the other side with the San Antonio Spurs, I mean, De'Aaron Fox, it seems like he's still nursing that ankle, even though he's playing on it. He's still nursing that. Dylan Harper, I think that you're still looking at here and there, hoping that, he's okay with the injury ailment that he had during this playoff series. So, I mean, right now, when it comes to health, the healthiest team in the NBA playoffs, bar none, has been the New York Knicks. So, although there may be individuals, whoever comes out of this Western Conference Finals series, A, they'll probably say that was the NBA Finals. B, they'll say whoever comes out of this series alive is probably going to be the favorite to win the NBA Finals.
That may change.
No,
But they are definitely more battle tested going through everything they've been through, not just this series, but the West.
The Knicks or
Whoever wins, Thunder or Spurs,
whoever-
they've had a harder path to get to the finals than the Knicks have, I would say.
OKC, this is the first real battle that they've seen. I mean, they won their first 8 games in their playoff hunt. I mean, they swept the Lakers. We don't really talk
Just taking them long.
We
Just
can-
taking them
we can
long to
revisit
get
that.
there.
Yeah, San Antonio, I got to give it to them, man. I didn't think that they'd be here. Not this early. I think with OKC and San Antonio, there's an argument that can be made that at least for the next 3, maybe 4 years, this is going to be your Western Conference Finals, which pains me as to say.
Yeah.
But I mean,
He pointed to his Lakers hat for people not able to see RJ, which is everyone.
but these two teams are, my goodness, it's just incredible to watch, and it's scary to watch as a Western Conference.
Yeah.
And I wasn't saying the Knicks' path was easy. I'm just saying I think it's easier to get to the
in the Eastern Conference?
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, but can't take it away. I mean, what is it, 11?
Yeah, 11.
Yeah.
11 straight is 11 straight is 11 straight is 11
That's
straight.
right. In the playoffs.
I mean, you're when it comes to closeout games, I mean, not only are you closing out the game, I mean, you're slamming the door, burning the house down, and not calling the cops.
That's right.
So
taking all the women.
Yeah. Yeah.
The theme of today.
The theme of today. I mean, what the Knicks are doing, I don't think anybody can overlook. And I mean, if you are a Knicks fan, probably don't look now, but I mean, you could be hoisting up that Larry O'Brien trophy, at the end of it all. But
with all the celebrities around,
with all the celebrities around. However, if it's OKC or if it's San Antonio, the way you've been able to close out games, I don't think you're going to be able to do against these two teams. They better have their hard hats ready because these two teams are something that they have not seen in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Good for Dave
8:30
Hicken
tonight.
because he might be having a meltdown with how the Mets are if the Knicks weren't.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
Knicks weren't.
saving some people for
Yeah, some
sure.
happiness.
All right, pest of the day on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 10 to next on 92.5 FM.
Frank Frangie here. When you're inside the Kuhn Flower showroom, you'll find a wide array of gift ideas that will take care of any gift-giving situation. Spend a few minutes there, and you'll see for yourself. That's Kuhn Flowers on Beach Boulevard.
Brooks are here for Lifetime Flooring. You've heard us rave about Lifetime enclosures. Now let's talk about Lifetime Flooring. I can tell you firsthand, the products and services, the best in Jacksonville. As you know, updating your floors is one of the most dramatic changes you can make to your home. Call the experts at Lifetime Flooring now and ask about their buy one room, get one room free promotion through Memorial Day. 0% financing available to meet any budget. Visit their beautiful showroom just off Phillips Highway and tell them Prosser sent you.
Retired U.S. Navy Commander Chris Valdivia from American Roll-On Roll-Off Carrier. The hardest transition isn't deployment, it's coming home. Be part of the solution at ONU's Mission Possible Gala, October 17th at Sawgrass Marriott. For information and to register, go to onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Discover the thrill of Sharks football. Fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. It's Star Wars night. Presented by HCA Florida Healthcare. Don't miss this Saturday, May 30th, as your Sharks look to continue their winning ways. Kickoff 7 o'clock and tickets start at just $15. This is the fun you've been looking for. The first 1,000 kids receive a free lightsaber. Dress up as your favorite character and get photos with members of the 501st Legion before the game. The Force is strong with this deal. Try our family 4-pack. Get 4 tickets and $50 in food or merchandise vouchers, all for only $100. Join us on field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at just $15. To get yours, call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks! Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's New York Pizza. If dinner seems expensive, come grab a pizza that's hot, fresh, and affordable. Feed the whole family without spending a ton. Tony D's New York Pizza. Easy, quick, and always a good call.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. While we've earned the reputation as North Florida and South Georgia's preeminent official Rolex jeweler, it's important to point out that at Underwoods we carry other watches too. We start with Seiko, the most reliable, serviceable watch made for under $500. And they've started making jeweled, self-winding watches again and sports watches you'd have to see to believe. Next we have Tavan, the Swiss-made ladies and men's and dress and sport watches, and they start at $575. Another name we carry is Tudor, inspired by Rolex with the same founder and owner, the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. And their sport watches and chronographs are the rage in Swiss timekeeping, with new in-house watch movements and exciting new model introductions every year. So if you're interested in watches, we have what you want at Underwoods, and all of our watches carry a 5-year warranty. At Underwoods, in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops upon Avedra.
Especially if it's because of someone's negligence. Hey, Tommy Mack here. If you get injured, there's only one number to call. It's Pound Law, that's all. Slip and fall, car wreck, wrongful death. It doesn't matter. Morgan & Morgan handles it all. Largest in the country, 100 offices, over 1,000 attorneys, and $30 billion recovered. That's the kind of team I want representing me. If you get hurt out there from someone else's wrongdoing, check out Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
One segment to go here on Helmets and Heels on this Thursday afternoon. Taylor Dahl is here. Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Time now for today's Pest of the Day, as always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. They do a fantastic job taking care of any pest issues that we have at our house, as well as ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. Taylor sent this to us earlier today. UCLA quarterback Carson Gordon plans to enter the transfer portal. The problem is and again, he's a quarterback, so that's the sport of football. The transfer portal is over when it comes to football. However, he's going to enter as a track athlete because that portal is open, but then he'll also be a dual sport guy, so that way he can play football somewhere else. Now, I have no idea how good or not good Carson Gordon is. I'm not going to take the time to research that. I just am annoyed that someone yet again is trying to find the loophole in the system. And I know he's excellent at track. So I'm surprised he's not more of a wide receiver or a DB because that's usually what you see. But Carson, you're today's pest of the day. And you might be a great kid, but the people that are encouraging you to enter the transfer portal and leave UCLA to go find another school to play track, but then also play football, that annoys me. Or run track, play football.
I think I read he was a wide receiver and I guess couldn't catch very well. So then moved him to quarterback. So they moved him to quarterback. So he's like a dual threat quarterback because he runs like a 4-2-3 or something. He's a track athlete. But yeah, it's just, I mean, they're going to try and find ways to do this. And that's the problem is that as soon as college football starts to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's some restrictions, some guardrails, whatever the wording you want to use is, then somebody's going to do something that's going to, kind of go bend the rules a little bit, not break them, but bend them. And then college football is going to have another issue. And that's kind of where we are right now, because now they're going to have to look at this and be like, okay, well, how do we stop this from happening? So it's going to be a situation where it's like, yeah, you can transfer for track, but you have to sit a year for football, maybe to, if you transfer for that sport and it's during the actual portal, transfer portal time, then you can transfer for that sport, but you can't play that other sport for a year. You have to sit. They're going to have to do something like that, or not every kid obviously is going to be able to make the track team or make the basketball team. So it's not like you're going to see a lot of these, but a lot of the kids are dual sport athletes when they come into college. So maybe they play both to be able to transfer multiple times and outside of the different portals.
Yeah, no, I like your idea. Like if they can play both sports, it's look. They came out with one of the 5 things or 4 or 5 things was that whole transfer without punishment, right, or without any kind of
one-time transfer.
One-time transfer
that's
without
part
any
of the Protect College
ramification.
Sports Act,
right? So they just have to put a little addendum there. It doesn't matter what sport you transfer in, or I kind of like that idea. Like, okay, you want to enter the portal for track, no problem. Go be a track athlete at that school. The next season, if they want you to play football, go try out for the team, no problem. But that loophole's got to be shut down right away.
Yeah,
and why would he make it public? I would have just done it.
Well,
if he could have,
I'm sure that Pete Nakos, who originally has the story, he saw the transfer portal that this kid entered in track and knew he was also a football player, would be my guess. But this reeks to me of he's not going to get playing time at UCLA, this Carson Gordon, as a quarterback or any position on the football field. And so he has to go somewhere else because you don't normally see, unless it's NIL, and I have no idea about how much NIL is in track and field these days in collegiate athletics, but you don't normally see a player in an Olympic sport, if they're super successful, they typically stay at their school. Not always. Like I said, there's NIL, but typically you see them stay at their sport.
I wonder because I read that he had committed to Chip Kelly when Chip Kelly was still there. And so I'm wondering, because I think Chip Kelly's at Northwestern now, so maybe he's trying to scoot his way back to Chip Kelly. And that's where some of these guys would argue that, well, I want to go back to the coach that originally recruited me, but he's also had multiple stops in between then. So we'll see.
Yeah, throw that
he found
one
a little.
I want to go back to the coach that originally was after. What was that? About 3 schools ago.
He's the OC. Chip Kelly is at Northwestern.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was the head coach. All right, let's say hello to the Fangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Sad to say, Hayes Carlin, I could not have told you who the head coach is for Northwestern football. I had to look it up, and then I was like,
who is it?
I couldn't have gotten that. David Braun. If you gave me multiple choice,
he could walk into this studio and I would not know who he was.
Yeah. Did you read that long form article? It was from a few weeks ago of Pat Fitzgerald and the whole story of him at Northwestern.
I tend not to read things unless I can color and those. So
the color by numbers.
Long form.
You're out.
Chapters. No, I need duckies and bunnies that I can color in, and
they pop out. They have the little thing. It's like little,
those are the greatest books ever. I mean,
but
every book should be a pop out. Like War and Peace, Crime and Punishment should have a pop out version.
That's right.
I will not comment on that, but I forget who wrote the article. I want to say it was ESPN, but either way, it was really interesting of how basically he shouldn't have been fired from Northwestern, and
Oh,
now
wow.
he's the Michigan State head coach.
Oh,
but either way.
Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald.
Oh,
yes.
yeah, he's a great coach.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
he shouldn't have been fired. Like he was fired because of that whole scandal, but with the hazing,
Yeah.
I think is
Yeah,
what it was.
yeah.
But he wasn't actually involved and had no idea of any of it
Yeah,
either.
that was a good hire by Michigan State.
It was.
Yeah,
It
heck
was.
yeah.
By the way, imagine a pop-out book for Old Man in the Sea.
Oh,
And
I mean,
big
that
old
could be
marlin
good.
comes
Yeah.
out.
Or Moby Dick.
Yeah. Oh, somebody get us a publisher on the phone.
This has something to do with that. I was reading about Marineland and how 6 months ago it was going to be sold to a developer, and they were going to tear Marineland down, build condos and things like that.
okay.
But a Clay County couple at the last minute was able to get an injunction in New Jersey. I don't know why it was tried in New Jersey.
Okay.
Because it was a Texas-based developer that owned it. Either way, or Mexico actually. It was Texas, then Mexico. So a company recently that owned Marineland was based in Mexico, which is also interesting. But a Clay County couple stepped in at the last minute and was able to save Marineland. So there you
That's
go.
awesome. Good for them.
Clay County, Mexico, New Jersey,
New Jersey,
and St. Augustine.
Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It sounds like you're pitching me like Ozark, but a different setting kind of thing. I'm in. You got my money. This project is greenlit. We're ready to go.
This is what I do. I spent like 15 minutes this morning reading about the history of Marineland. Opened in 1938. Anyway, I'm just glad that it was saved because it is
absolutely.
a Florida treasure.
Absolutely.
That's right.
What are you guys doing on the Frangie Show?
We're going to talk about SeaWorld and Six Flags and pop-up books and coloring books. Lee Smith's going to join us at 5:15, Executive Director of the Players Championship, to talk golf. And Pete Prisco's going to join us at 4:15
Nice.
to talk Jaguars and NFL. Yeah, so it should be fun coming up.
Last little fun fact, SeaWorld at one point in time did buy some of the dolphins from Marineland because Marineland had fallen
many?
into
Yeah.
really bad
they just needed
financial.
help.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't have too many.
Marineland
dolphins.
was incredible when I was a kid.
Yes.
Like,
And
it was
don't think
great.
then
I've
it went.
been.
It
And
fell
then
upon hard
and then
times.
it fell upon hard
yes,
times.
with
But
yes.
I'm old enough to remember like SeaWorld at its prime.
Sell off your ass.
Marineland
More
at
people
its
weren't mad
prime.
at it. Also,
One of those things. Yeah.
All right,
But anyway,
thanks.
thanks.
Thanks. All right, that'll do it for us today. Who knows what we'll get into tomorrow?
Oh,
For
boy.
Taylor Dell, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking, and we will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show is next.